Assassin's Creed Shadows is kind of in a weird spot right now, because on one hand, Ubisoft has already been supporting it with updates, story drops, and quality of life stuff, but on the other hand, year one has been a proper mixed bag. Some drops were generally fun, and some got absolutely rinsed by the community. We all know what one we're talking about. And now we're heading into year two with rumors flying everywhere. Co-op multiplayer mode, Cassandra showing up, Isu's story continuation, and even a Black Flag tie-in quest. So today, I'm breaking it all down. What year one did right, where it fell flat, what year two looks like based on what's been confirmed, what's rumored, and what Ubisoft needs to improve on if they want Shadows to stay alive. So, if you enjoy the video, like that button, subscribe for more Assassin's Creed, let's jump straight into it. First, quick reset of Assassin's Creed Shadows as a whole, because their post-launch plan has basically been a mix of regular title updates and quality of life mini updates. We've also had story drops with free quest content that had abilities, add-ons, little side arcs which were somewhat fun, and then you had the collaborations and special events and bigger paid content like Claws of Awaji. And to be fair, Ubisoft were pretty upfront early on that story drops were meant to keep the world feeling alive and active, with new quests and gameplay additions rolling over time. Then over the year we've had stuff like roadmap updates, parkour changes, new activities, plus Animus Hub projects and rifts. So on paper, it looks like solid support, but does it feel worth coming back for? Which I think the biggest year one wins come from two things. The first one is the actual gameplay improvements. Ubisoft did keep adding practical stuff that made the game smoother to live in. Like early on, they added the quality of life features people are asking for, including Mount Road follow, other tweaks, day-night change, new parkour updates, that sort of stuff. And later on, they kept the momentum going with combat polishing, new animations. Title update 1.1.7, for example, added new finish animations, plus an Animus Rift and a new Animus Hub project with unlockable rewards. Story drops actually had somewhat of a personality. Ubisoft's recent roadmap included the free story drop, a puzzlement which they described as more humorous, with Naoe and Yasuke learning skills from each other, plus an environmental puzzle. This is the type of content that works and feels like an episode of Assassin's Creed Shadows, not just a checklist. However, there are some stuff that worked better than the puzzlement. For instance, we got the Raffinho quest tied in with Critical Role, which actually saw us fighting against the Templars and learning more about them, and that sort of stuff I enjoy. What isn't right though is that they added in the parkour update, which should have been in the game from the beginning. I don't know why they didn't, but again, it should have been in the game at launch. I'm just glad they added it in later on. But then you have the flip side, because year one also proved that smaller drops live or die on execution. Now, when a crossover or quest drop doesn't land, it doesn't feel like bonus content to fans, it just makes it feel like wasted time. Let's take the Attack on Titan crossover as a good example of something that got a really rough reception in a lot of the community, with a lot of us calling it messy and disappointing. If you guys saw my video and you saw my TikTok, you know that I found it absolutely absurd that they would just release this looking how it did. It just wasn't good enough for Assassin's Creed, let alone good enough for us players. And that's a massive problem, because if your year one plan has a lot of smaller drops, the bad ones stand out more. You don't have the cushion of a big expansion to reset the vibe every single time you release one. So year one to me sort of reads like it had a good foundation of constant updates, good quality of life stuff, but it was inconsistent with the delivery. Again, I know we're taking a piss out of the Attack on Titan crossover, but we had a Dead by Daylight one which was completely out of the realm of Assassin's Creed, but we knew what it was. It was set in a completely different realm, it was tied to this new crossover sort of thing, but they went all out on it, and it was fun because we knew, okay, yeah, this is an Assassin's Creed, this is a little tie-in event thing, they've done stuff like this before. That was fun, but the Attack on Titan, it just wasn't good enough. Which brings us on to year two, and the most important thing we know is there's been a lot of discussion circulating that the team doesn't have plans for a second big expansion on the scale of Awaji, and that instead they're experimenting with keeping content smaller and more reactive. Whether you think this is smart or disappointing on what you think on Shadows, this does mean year two likely lives or dies on that quality of story drops, the meaningful system updates, and whether they add something replayable. I'm not a fan of this, to be honest. I want another big content DLC drop, like give us one for Yasuke. We've had one for Naoe. In a video I did a while back, I spoke about how Yasuke could have his own DLC, going to a new location. I was thinking Portugal, to track down the head of the Portuguese Templars and finally take him him then down. That leads into Yasuke's overall story against the Templars and what they did to him and his mother, and also gives fans more Assassin versus Templar lore. It would be incredible, it would be fun, and something I know fans would love to play. But instead, I think Ubisoft's confirmed direction is going to be the continuing story drops, gameplay updates, Animus Hub content, rifts, projects that add ongoing progression, and more Battle Pass loot systems. Because I know people say it's not a Battle Pass, it is. Just because you don't have to pay for it doesn't mean it's not a Battle Pass, which is good. If Ubisoft were to start making this a paid system, it would just absolutely ruin it. So Ubisoft, going into year 2, do not add any paid Battle Pass Animus Hub stuff, please. Thank you very much. But going off all of this, devs have commented saying that they want to expand the core series lore over time, including broader Assassin Templar elements, Isu threads, and modern day foundations, even if not everything was front loaded at launch. So the overall plan sounds like they want to keep Shadows evolving through year 2. Now, this is where we get into the year 2 rumors and leaks, so take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt, because it might be real, it might not, it might be complete bollocks, but we're gonna go over it anyway. So the first major one we have is the rumored multiplayer co-op mode. Some reporting and leak discussion has suggested they're getting a post-launch cooperative mode at some point in the future. My take is that this is the one rumor that makes most sense as a year 2 pillar, because it's the kind of thing that gives Shadows the massive replayability overnight. A good co-op drop could be co-op heist assassinations, mini heists, co-op infiltration missions, or even just open world co-op with shared objectives. If Ubisoft wants players returning weekly, co-op does that. Or they could go the Ghost of Tsushima co-op mode way, where you have separate story missions, but then you have this sort of anime wave, and you just keep progressing that way. I think that'd be quite cool, and something I would generally play for hours on end with a bunch of my friends. Then you have the Cassandra returning and Isu story continuation, which sounds interesting because technically it's not just random fan hope. There's been coverage pointing out that devs have teased the possibility of doing more with Cassandra in Shadow's evolving story, and that they've basically got a Cassandra focused thread under wraps. And if you're Ubisoft, Cassandra is a very easy win. She connects to the Isu stuff, she connects to the modern day, she can exist across most of the time periods we're playing in, and she's popular enough to bring people back, but it needs to be handled carefully. If it's just a cameo quest, people will go, oh, okay, cool, well, that's fun, and then they'll move on. If it's an actual Isu continuation that ties into the Animus Hub story and pushes the modern day forward, that's when this stuff becomes exciting. And talking about exciting, there's apparently a rumored resync tie-in quest. This one is 100% treat as possible, but very marketing coded sort of thing. A tie-in quest would make a lot of sense if Ubisoft wants the Animus Hub to feel like a connected platform where stories echo across projects. But if it's real, it needs to be more than go here, grab this, new outfit unlocked. Tie-ins work when they feel like lore, mystery, or a proper narrative breadcrumb that links the worlds. Otherwise, it's just an advert you can play. My idea would be you do a little Animus Hub mission, the voice from the Animus Hub says to you, there's been these bottles washing up with notes in them on this certain beach within Shadow's map. Players will then have to go there, open the note, find the right one, and then get a quest with a clue to a location. Players then have to solve a riddle, do some other cool stuff, get the community involved like we did with the Isu puzzlement quest, to then find the jackdaw washed up somewhere, maybe hidden in a cave, and the Animus excuse could be, oh, this is an Animus glitch, I don't know what it's doing here, better go check it out sort of thing. When players do, they can then go and maybe load in to the ship, find some cool stuff, unlock Edward's outfit for both Naoe and Yasuke, because I want both of the characters to be able to wear the outfit, and then perhaps we get a hint towards a release day or a possible trailer release date, or because I know Ubisoft can do this, they might be able to add the trailer into the game. If players then were to go interact with the head of the ship or the little board that you used to be able to go and send your ships out on, if they interact on that, maybe the trailer will play. That's just something I've been thinking about and I think would be pretty cool, because it ties it in with the Animus Hub, it ties it in with the future games, and it rewards the community for working together and gives them something they love. I think that would be pretty cool and something I would love to see. But other than the the possibilities and leaks, the one thing that is 100% guaranteed in year 2 of Assassin's Creed Shadows are new story drops, because they've been a key part of Shadows post-launch content since the beginning of the game. The only question is, are they going to be short and disposable, or memorable mini arcs that actually add to the cast and the world? Because year 1 proved people will praise the good ones and absolutely shit on the bad ones. So that's pretty much where we're at with Assassin's Creed Shadows at the moment. Year 1 had a solid foundation with inconsistent drops. Year 2 likely more reactive content, but with big potential if co-op and the Cassandra Isu continuation are real. But I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Would you rather year 2 give us a proper Yasuke focused big story expansion, or a co-op mode that keeps the game alive for years, or numerous different story updates and content like that? Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below, and if you want to see more Assassin's Creed content, make sure you click that subscribe button, like if you enjoyed the video. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.